I called the book, I titled it, Where Do I Belong? It really deals with the issue of identity and immigration. The little joke I like to use is that I couldn't afford a shrink, and so I wrote a memoir. Lithuania was a small country in Europe, not very powerful, so first it was occupied by the Russians. Then the Germans occupied Lithuania, so that was the second occupation. My father, mostly, and many other Lithuanians decided to leave, that they didn't want to stay for the second occupation based on the terrible things that happened during the first occupation. So we left, got on a train to go to Germany, of all things. The war was still going on. This was like 1944. And there was bombing from the Allies, and we lived in a railroad car, and there was no shelter to be found elsewhere. At least it had a roof over our heads. There was always a shortage of food. Me being 5 years old, I gobbled up the little piece that I got, but I was a little selfish at 5 years old. I want more. I'm still hungry, so I started crying that I want more. I'm still hungry. My older brother, John, he said, he saw me crying. He said, "Here, shut up, take my piece." So he sacrificed his own hunger, shut up his little brother, I guess. So Hitler wanted to encourage the Aryan race, and he would choose children that looked like his image of Aryans. So they looked around, these soldiers, and saw my brother, who was 12 at the time, the same brother that gave me his piece of bread. And they decided that I guess he was a good candidate for this Hitler Jugend school. We had to, when the train came, we had to leave without him. Once we got into the DP camps in Germany, at first they were run by American soldiers. So of course they showed Betty Grable movies, and Ronald Reagan, he had the story of I guess the Gipper story, the Notre Dame football and so on. Our image of American soldiers was they won the war, they were the heroes, and we kind of followed them around wherever we could. And my father said, "Well, let's go to Australia," but all of us children, me and my two older brothers, no, we want to go to America, we love America. So that's how we ended up in the US of A. It was a long process. It was a combination of finding myself, a combination of getting educated and trying to do better economically, but it was also this idea of learning to accept the new culture, which there was always a conflict between the way things were done in the old country that my parents represented and my desire to belong to America and the American culture. The reality was a lot different than the Hollywood version of the movies that we saw, so it was quite a different experience. Many other people from many other countries have gone through, can identify with at least some parts of my personal experience, because they all go through the cultural conflicts. They all go through the sense of displacement, even though they may have come voluntarily for economic reasons, for opportunity reasons. They still, I guarantee you, they still go through this struggle of the old and the new. My book is the search of belonging that I was able to find over time in America. And I feel like I belong in America, but it was a long journey that I was able to complete. But my parents, in spite of all the sacrifices and keeping us together, were never able to get that denouement or resolution of that displacement that they've experienced in their lives. So I certainly wanted to dedicate the book to them for keeping us safe and never having the satisfaction of finding again what they lost.